Probably. Hi, I'm Eric Allen. I'm here with Joe Drilling.
Hello,
This
cops from the techno future.
is Genesis or Genesisn't, where I play a Genesis game and then I say if I liked it or not. It's a pretty complicated, high concept show with a lot of deep politics and other various complicated things. So, if you can't keep up, it's okay. This week's game is TechnoCop, which is a
Sure
great
is.
name for a video game.
Why did the random number generator
TechnoCop.
pick this?
So what was I played a game called something with a T, Techno, what was that?
That weird top-down RPG thing.
Yeah.
That was sort of like Shadowrun, but not as good. Techno Clash.
Techno Clash, yes. And I was basically just like scrolling through, and those two games was like a coin toss between them. They both had good names, and Techno Clash won that particular round. But I wanted to come back to TechnoCop because I thought it was a great name for a game. So this
Can I tell you a secret? It's a terrible fucking video game.
This was made by Gray Matter Inc. It was released in 1988 for a bunch of those weird European computers that most people that live in America
We don't know
anything
anything
about.
about.
Yeah, Amiga, the ZX Spectrum, Commodore 64. Also, like the Apple II, and there's a DOS version as well. This
That's
version
bizarre.
of the game was put out in 1990.
Razorsoft was a short-lived publisher, and they did not really do
Right.
much that was good. Like Jerry Glanville's Pigskin Foot Brawl, I think is probably their best thing, and that's a port of an arcade game by Midway. That's kind of like basically the precursor to Blitz.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like the Gray Matter, who's the developers of this game, it's not a super great.
Not a wonderful pedigree.
Dirty Harry for the NES.
For the NES? Oh.
Like that horrible Ren and Stimpy game that came out for the Super Nintendo and the.
There were multiples of
I
those.
think that's the Super Nintendo one. B.O.B., which was that robot with guns game that came out like real.
Wasn't that supposed to be actually kind of good?
I don't,
feel like
it
I've
was
heard that's
featured
kinda
really
good.
heavily in Nintendo Power, but I don't think I ever actually spent any significant amount of time with it. I'm pretty sure I like screwed around with it in an emulator at some point. But WWF King of the Ring, which is a game you and I have talked about in various like wrestling themed podcasts, but
Yeah,
can't actually find
that
on the
game's
internet
bad.
right now.
Oh man, and the
That's
NES
also
version
bad.
of the Terminator. Oh no, the Super NES version of the Terminator,
Yeah.
which is also really bad.
Also, like, can we just talk about this Genesis box art for a minute? This this pose is really, really good.
That is some amazingly like early cyberpunk style art for sure. Is there a European box art that's different, or is it the same art? Or
No, the box arts for the various versions are all different. There's one like the DOS version of it is a picture of the car with a punk with a mohawk riding on it, and then it says TechnoCop, and the O is a bullet hole.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's like a shooting gallery target practice with a bunch of bullet holes around
Commodore
it.
64 one looks like an 80s cartoon kind of like.
It looks like an ad for Micro Machines or Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
Except like with
Or
generic
I
thugs.
was thinking like Transformers or something. So I should probably be playing this because I just noticed that I have a timer. Maybe I'll just reset actually. Let's just reset this. Because I don't think so. I screwed around with this a little bit. It doesn't appear that there's any music in this game aside from the music that plays on the title screen.
Yeah, I don't think there's much. Yeah, the Genesis version definitely has the best art
For sure.
of all of these.
Look at that gun. Look at those shades, man. Should get a pair of those for myself. So I have to drive. What's the? This shoots. This does nothing. Oh, I have to hold up to go. Great. Cool.
Gotta love that when you have to hold up to drive.
Yeah. I mean, it's especially bad on a D-pad because it makes it hard to turn. I guess I don't know what's my motivation for killing these guys.
You're a cop, and cops just commit extrajudicial murders.
Fair enough.
That was a very popular theme in 80s media and video games.
Is that why people
especially.
seem so comfortable with the idea nowadays? Like,
I'm hesitant to ascribe that to media. Like, I don't. Also, there's a lot of people who are uncomfortable with it.
turns out the angry the angry police chief was the one who was correct all along. That we
yeah.
actually have rules and regulations on police officers for reasons.
Yeah, actually, this part of the game is like shitty road blasters.
Right. I was thinking like
later
Outrun,
it's gonna turn into
also shitty Outrun.
Yeah, but you don't shoot an Outrun, so you know. And later it's gonna turn into shitty. Geez, I don't know.
Dead or alive, pulling over now. Pulling over how? I guess I'm arresting a construction worker.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
All right. So still no music. There's a kid. I have a gun and a net, and I have this really amazing HUD, which is my. It's like
shitty shinobi. Does that work?
So if I hit guys with this net gun, it makes a really amazing sound, which sounds like an animal slurping, like a dog slurping somebody with their tongue. Also, I can shoot this kid, I think. Yeah. And then I can, if I push down, just get down on my knees and put my thumb up. Fuck yeah. What's up, kid? Good job, kid. Also,
good job getting shot.
When I jump, he makes a really good noise too.
I like the jumping animation is also.
Yeah. Thrash, DOA rules. Now, if I know anything about late 90s wrestling, DOA and Thrash were not ever on the same team.
No, and DOA did not rule.
No, they sucked pretty hard, actually.
You only have a minute left to save this granny or whatever.
Is that guy wearing a party hat?
I think it's supposed to be maybe he's supposed to be Zippy the Pinhead. I don't know. You just got killed by Zippy the Pinhead. Punk. I like that
time
too.
Limit, time limit exceeded. Criminal has escaped. Too bad. Current rank,
I like that when you shoot these guys, they just like explode into like an ocean of gore. Like,
so this game came out before there were ESRB ratings on things. So
before there were even like Sega Genesis ratings.
Yeah, the pile of gore like twitches a little bit.
Yeah, the
good job.
The Genesis had its own. Sega made their own rating system early on.
Just got whipped.
Actually, shitty flashback. I feel like I guess is maybe like the really
for this? Yeah,
for this part it goes from shitty road blaster to shitty flashback.
I've seen it described in on like Wikipedia as a run-and gun, although I would hesitate to call this a run-and gun.
Absolutely not. I think whoever categorized it as that doesn't know what that genre actually is.
I mean, it's Gunstar Heroes and it's Contra.
Right. Or from a top-down perspective, it's, Commando or Guerrilla War or Ikari Warriors or whatever. And this game does not resemble any of those games.
It's true. Right, depends on if you're talking about it from like a shooter perspective or a platformer perspective. Hey, speaking of
the kid's back to life. Came back to life.
Good. I didn't really kill him. I just knocked him out a little bit. Just scared him. Speaking of run and gun platformers, I finished Cuphead.
Yeah.
Looking at the Steam achievements, apparently about 12% of the people that bought Cuphead finished Cuphead. So it sold over 1 million copies. So like about 120,000 people finished it. It was really fun to look at that actually, because there was like a really marked decline from the people that finished the first island to the people that finished the second island to the people that finished the third island to the people that finished the last two bosses. It's like it was like 70% finished the first island, and then like just around 50% finished the second one, and then like 30% finished the third one, and then like I said, about 12% of people have the achievement for finishing the game. So, and around that same amount have the achievement for beating
King Dice or the devil, right?
Because Mr. King Dice, the King Dice battle is way more difficult in that game than finishing the actual final.
There's like another. I feel like there's another game like that where like the second to last boss is way tougher than the actual final boss. Like a similar, like a run and gun type game, and I can't.
I mean, in Contra, the two levels previous to the final level are both much more difficult than the final level is.
And the final boss in Contra is like a pushover.
Yeah, right? I mean, it can be kind of difficult to manage. If you don't know to get rid of the enemy spawners, then it can be a little bit difficult to manage sometimes. But
yeah, that's true. And then they kind of fix that later, and like in Super C, the final boss is a lot harder than the stationary beating heart But yeah, this game not a run and gun. Just because you have a gun and you technically
Yeah.
are moving, like
Right.
walking or running, that does not make the game a run and gun.
I'm trying to get Dave Rock. He's age 32 and he's mass 210. Doesn't say what unit though, so
Well, if it's mass, I would assume kilograms, but 210 kilograms is a big fucking dude.
he's Dave Rock, so he's probably pretty big. I got bit by a rat.
I saw that, yeah.
I can't like consistently.
Does it matter? Like, do you get bonus points for not murdering all these criminals, for catching them in your
I don't
freaky
know.
net gun instead, like your Spider-Man?
I'm not privy to that information. I just do it because I have been killed. Game over. I just have been doing it because the net is one shot and the gun takes multiple shots.
Yeah.
What? Here's some music.
You reach the rank of grunt.
Bum 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 bum.
See, I was going to start to try to think of games the Christmas theme to give you.
Well, this game's
And in
not
fact, I know which game. There's a lot of red, not so much, and some green at the bottom there. So yeah, you're right. Just, there you go. I was going to. I know the the last one of these we do before Christmas. I definitely know what game I'm gonna serve you up that week. So
okay. I'm looking forward to that.
it's explicitly Christmas themed. So we'll see if it's any good. It's a game I've also not played. So.
Okay. I was gonna say I'm not playing Christmas Nights, but that's not a Genesis game.
That's not a Genesis game. That's a decent game though.
Nights, my experience with Nights has not been a positive one.
I think it's. I understand why people were disappointed at the time, especially that there wasn't a 3D Sonic game on the Saturn, but Sonic Team gave us Nights, which is
not good. I think the problem is that it's not very good.
It's unique. I don't know. It's
I mean, unique is Granny held hostage. Suspect extremely violent. Dead or alive. Pulling over now. I'm gonna go save this Granny.
Dead or alive.
I have not played a ton of Nights, but like I said,
I think it's fine in its own way. I mean, because it's unique, I kind of like it because there's not much else that is like it.
Yeah.
It's non-violent. It's not really a platformer, and it's not really a puzzle game, and it's definitely not a puzzle platformer. But it's like, I don't know. It's not a flight sim, but it kind of is, and it's it's so weird that I sort of enjoy it. But I mean, the only Nights game that I own is Christmas Nights. So that tells you. I guess all you need to know about my feelings on Nights is just that I think it's a fun aesthetic.
Stamina bar for this.
Like, you can't jump too much or you run out of stamina?
Oh, I think I found the guy. Suspect escaped as a result of officer injury. Okay, so he knocked me out, and I guess if you get knocked out...
You walked into a drum of toxic waste.
Yeah.
And...
Seems like a bad place to store that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is this all there is to this game? Is this all there is to this?
This is all there is to this. You drive and you go into buildings and...
I gotta say,
at least as far as I know, that's all there is.
Neither of the two gameplay styles in this game is very good.
No, it's the opposite of ActRaiser.
Yeah, or two decent modes of gameplay synergized to make a game that's greater than the sum of its parts.
Yep, but in this case, it's
a bad driving game,
extremely
and a bad run and gun.
Not a bad cinematic platformer. I don't know. Did you just run over a kid on a bike?
Nah, I think I missed him.
Okay, but that was a kid on a bike.
TechnoCop doesn't run over kids on. I think it's a little kid on a scooter. Maybe, I don't know. All right, that one I hit. Oh no! If I try to hit him, he just hits the brakes.
It's not a fat little Italian plumber on a scooter.
Distance to scene of crime, 12.1 miles. Ugh. I don't like having to hold up and drive at the same time.
Yeah, that's annoying. I also like that future cop car is like, I don't know, like a Testarossa or whatever, that like an Italian sports car with like quad exhaust.
Ferrari. I think it's supposed to be a Ferrari. And I feel like I had a Matchbox car Ferrari that had that weird thing on the back.
And it's just like, I mean, cop cars are fast, generally speaking, but they're usually not actually sports cars.
Right.
You know, unless there's some bullshitty asset forfeiture stuff going on. Maybe, you know, this game, we are getting political about this game. Despite your joke at the beginning, we're talking about extrajudicial killings and asset forfeiture and all kinds of stuff. Also, well, again, it's a British game. I was going to say, why does he drive on the right side?
That kid ran up behind me and I accidentally shot him, but don't worry about it. I'm a cop, so I'm not going to go to jail. It'll be fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, they won't do anything to me. It's good. It's all good.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up.
I also like that I think this cop killed Michael Jackson and took his leather jacket from the Beat It video.
It's Jason.
Man, there was no... I actually thought about going on a tangent in the Friday the 13th video I did in October about all the old video game enemies who are inspired by Jason Voorhees. But I just didn't want to take like 3 minutes to be like, here's like 20 video games with Jason Voorhees lookalikes as bad guys. But that was a super popular aesthetic in the 1980s. It was just be like, we need a bad guy.
Apparently this guy's a magician. What the fuck? Promotion denied. Kurt, why did I lose my promotion? What happened? All right, whatever. Whatever. Why was that guy a magician? That doesn't look like a magician to me. It looks like I don't know. It looks like it looks like a blurry Game Boy camera picture.
He looked like the lead singer in an Alice Cooper tribute band.
I can't move. Like apparently the enemies can stun lock you. Fuck, stop.
Wow.
Yeah,
what a
right?
Great game.
I literally couldn't do anything because those guys had me stun locked. All right, well. So
Zippy the Pinhead and Jason Voorhees are the main antagonists, and some dude with an orange mohawk, which could be any.
And a cone head.
Yeah, I said Zippy the Pinhead.
Okay, yeah.
You know, so why are you still playing this?
I don't know. I mean, usually I go for half an hour. It's only been 18 minutes.
I guess, but maybe I mean, danger! Automobile has lost control.
You know, off a real Chase HQ kind of vibe.
This game is trash.
Mike, Chase HQ is a good game.
Yeah.
You see.
Or Road Blaster or Outrun. Do I have any of those games? Could I just play one of those instead?
There's not actually like a true port of Outrun to the Genesis, believe it or not. Which is super weird, right? Because there's Space Harrier and there's Afterburner. And there's Outrun 2049 or something, which
Outrun
most
2019
say is not that good. 2019. We have to wait till 2019 to play that.
Or
the first episode of 2019 Genesis or Genesisn't will be Outrun.
We'll see how it compares to.
We'll compare it to the reality of 2019.
Egg Sims Co. Ltd.
So Sims Co. is they're a pretty good developer.
All right.
So I don't know. I mean, again, I've heard this is not a great no name.
That's me.
I've heard this is not a great Outrun game, but you know,
I can tell you it's better than TechnoCop because I can hold down a button to go instead of having to
press up.
Instead of having to hold up.
That's a hallmark that it was an Amiga game first, and whoever ported it didn't bother to change that.
Oh wow!
Like,
well,
you guys California streaming?
I feel like this game should come with a seizure warning. The way that
most games did. All games did. I think all games still do, actually, don't they? Generally,
maybe.
But early for the seizure warnings? I thought that those happened after the Pokemon show.
Later, yeah.
No. I think games. No, because the Pokemon thing was the cartoon, not the game.
I love that you're driving 680 miles per hour.
That's in 2019. My cars will go 600 miles
Which
per
is like
hour.
1.5 times the speed of sound, I want to say.
I do like that they're attempting to make it look like I'm driving underneath an overpass.
Apparently, you can get up on top of the overpasses
sweet.
later, and it's super easy to fall off of them, which is like one of the main criticisms of this game. Is that like you fall to your death very easily.
Just drive down the
Oh.
Man, but that whole TechnoCop thing actually kind of makes me want to play Lucky and Wild, but that's an arcade game only. But that game is awesome.
That
Yeah,
game is awesome.
Yeah, Lucky and
You
Wild.
need a steering wheel and a light gun. What
Alright.
console can
Yeah.
handle that kind of craziness?
Very carefully.
Joe, how do you not?
When you're playing as definitely not Sylvester Stallone and definitely not Kurt Russell.
I'll go back to TechnoCop.
Who did you
I'll give
pick, Joe?
TechnoCop one more run, and then we'll call it a thing. But I can already tell you, this game, Genesis, is bad. Genesis is very not good.
Like I said, man, Razorsoft was not renowned for their quality. They also made a game called Death Duel.
Also, I really love old games that run so poorly that they have to take up 90% of the screen with the user interface.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing in old like FMV adventure games where you're trying to
Full
kind
screen
of
video would look like absolute garbage.
right, where the video is compressed so badly that if you had it even at full screen at like 640 by 480, it would look like absolute horseshit. So you kind of made the video postage stamp size to hide some of that
Kinda
stuff.
hide that, yeah.
But I mean, I feel like it's inexcusable when it's a Genesis game or a Super Nintendo game, especially one that's as simple looking as this is.
I really get the
like-
sense.
I guess this might just be like a holdover from it being a port.
I was gonna say, I get the sense that the people who ported it from Amiga just did not bother.
Yeah.
But do you like knowing which gear you're in?
Not really.
You're not actually changing gears, right? Like that is not part of this game.
No,
It just
no,
does it
not have-
automatically.
as far as I can
Okay.
tell, there is no manual shift mode.
Grammy's
Okay.
being held hostage.
Yeah.
You gotta get that statue back.
Yep. That golden gramophone.
No, we don't want that, actually. DOA rules. Ugh,
We've been over this.
I can't.
I don't understand why you're putting yourself through this again.
Wait,
I gotta
wait,
go
I
save
looked
that
away
granny.
I looked away for a second. What is this the same game?
Yeah, this is the
Yes,
same game.
it's the same game.
What is
He's a techno and a cop.
Yeah, so you drive to the crime scene, and then
okay.
you
You go into the crime scene.
yeah,
Have a very short amount of time to solve the crime by killing everybody.
pretty much. Actually, there's just one target that you have to take down. That's usually like most of those guys are just like the random mooks.
Yeah, you haven't gotten to see the body exploding animations.
Oh
You've been going
yeah,
kinda
I
non-legal.
You
have.
just feel up that guy.
There, I got him. I got this guy. No, if you duck, you do like a. Actually, if
like
I
a
duck
little
right
cupping
here,
him.
yeah, if I duck right here, it kind of looks like he's got a heart on that guy laying down.
Yeah, exactly. You're like,
It's pretty good. Thumbs up.
Cough,
Good
please.
job. So, what's up with you guys? I'll
Eric,
explode a guy.
is your hand always that veiny?
I'll explode a guy for
Yes.
Anthony to see.
Eric is never not clenching his fist.
He feels like he needs to be ready at all times for an IV to go into the back of his hand.
Yeah, there's blood dripping down his wrist from like his nails digging into the underside.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a red shirt. That's his stupid red coat that he's wearing. But
No, it's blood.
oh, I keep
The
hitting
arm is
wrong
covered in
jump.
The thriller jacket.
Okay, well now that Anthony's seen the body explode into meat chunks and twitch on the floor, like maybe it's time to call it a night on this episode of Genesis or
I don't know.
Genesisn't.
I'm just kind of now starting to get into this game.
This game's real
Does
good.
this game have a rating, or is that
No,
before
this
rating?
Nope.
predates. This came out in
It's pre-ratings.
1990.
We talked about
I can
that
shoot this
before.
kid too.
Hey,
So
you
it's,
see that guy?
also-
You see that guy's hair?
It's also relevant to our some of our current.
Did you just
social
kill that
turmoil.
kid?
Yeah, I murdered him. I'm a cop though, so I can just do
Oh,
that.
that's
It's
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid had some kind of ray gun. It looked real enough.
Joe, so that guy's hair,
This was before they
I'm
put the
thinking
orange
that
cap
is your
on.
extra life reward for next year.
By the way,
Which guy?
just for the record, fuck the
The main guy.
The techno cop,
Yeah.
like on the box art.
I mean, we're
No, I meant the sprite, but the box art's not bad.
we're joking and
this is-
having fun, but fuck the police, or at least fuck the corruption inherent in the current.
And the blue code of silence and all
Right.
that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck all that shit.
Turns out that there probably should be consequences when somebody kills somebody else, especially if they're unarmed, even if they do happen to have a darker
What are you
tone of
talking
skin. Yep, even those people turns out they're also people and should be afforded some sort of.
I don't know if I'm ready for revolutionary ideas.
Apparently, it is, because it keeps happening.
This is getting really.
I know it's getting
really
we're
political
getting
all
deep.
of a sudden.
We're getting deep. Anyway, that's TechnoCop. This game is trash. Sorry.
Oh.
There's some things about it I like.
Do you think a
I
remake?
warned you. I
Do you
warned
think a
you.
remake could fix it?
No. Nope.
It would just be like
I mean-
every other sandbox game, right? It would be like because now driving to a place and then getting out and having an action sequence is not a novelty anymore.
This is actually the game that predates LA Noire. So here's the thing.
Then a remake would be great because LA Noire is pretty awesome and
Right.
this game sucks.
Here's the things I like about TechnoCop. One, I like the noise that it makes when you shoot somebody with the net gun. I like that slurping noise. Two, I like the way that their faces twitch when you blow them up with your bullets. And number three, I like that I can see what gear I'm in while I'm driving the car. But other than that, I don't like this game very much. Anyway, we'll be back next week with some other Genesis game. And we'll be back in 5 minutes with some SteamWorld Dig 2.
Yay!
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.